Welcome back to the Giant Rugby League Show, episode 11 today. Thank you to Nova Sport UK for getting us on last week to do the podcast with those guys. Welcome back, Nathan.
Yep, how are you doing?
Good, thank you. Obviously, two wins on the bounce now for the Giants. A good weekend.
Yeah, I've been able to say that for a long time, haven't we?
Yeah.
Really, really good. Enjoyed the performance. Yeah, just the good vibes all around, wasn't it? And good to back up. I said to you how important it was after beating Wigan that we went out there and got that first home win against York. I'm really, really pleased that we went out and did that.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's one of them where that Wigan win it'd have been pointless if we lost to York, wouldn't it? I just feel like we needed to go out there. We needed to back it up. Obviously, we've not won many games at home for a while now, for a couple of years at least. So yeah, just good to get a home win. And yeah, there were over 4,000 there. I don't think York will have brought more than 500. Obviously, they're in our stand from what we could see. Obviously, with it being bank holiday, there was probably more than I was expecting to be there, to be honest, because I didn't think it'd be that big with the bank holiday. But yeah, a good win overall. York probably didn't live up to kind of what they lived up to in the first couple of weeks. I think probably for the three promoted sides overall, I think that honeymoon period has definitely ended. Seems like now the games and the competition starting to catch up with them all.
Yeah, I think what it is that injuries have obviously crept into their squads, and I just think that's where, I know there's us and Saints and some other teams that have had some really, really big injury lists, but I feel like if you're one of the newly promoted sides and they lose, where we lost 9 and 9, 10, 11, we were really struggling. I think we got to 12, 13 at one point.
Yeah.
I feel like if they're losing 3 or 4 of certain players, then they're going to get found out a bit more. So I don't think that strength and depth is as good. And I think that's probably what's coming to the front, because I think York were without their 6 and 7. They were without their 2 first choice 7s, weren't they? Because obviously I think it's Harrison, it was their main one, and then Richardson's obviously the backup to that, and neither of them were playing. So obviously, again, we've suffered with it all year. It's hard to get playing properly when you don't have your spine out there, isn't it? So yeah, it'll be like this all year. I think it'll be peaks and troughs in everyone's performances, and it's a lot down to the injuries of the players that you're having out, obviously, as some of the teams are finding out at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously, I think kind of having not being able to make the trip to Wigan due to work circumstances, obviously being able to kind of watch Clune and Evalds go about the work, I think, yeah, obviously when we were doing his predictions for a started team at the start of the year, obviously I went down the Flanagan route, but I think kind of now watching Evalds, watched the Wigan game on TV and watched the York game at home, I think having Evalds, it's just him and Clune are very structured out there. Flanagan's a lot more, with him being so young and so inexperienced, he's a lot more off the cuff. Whereas I feel like when Evalds is in attack with his players, he knows the next move already, which I do think helped us out a lot of the weekend.
I think his positioning is just a lot of it for me. He's just always in the right place, whether it's attack or defence. I think there were one time actually that he were in a tackle and York scored quickly off it, which was a great kick, to be fair to York. But apart from that, I can't really fault him. And it's not that he were at fault particularly because he'd gone out to make a cover tackle. It was more just quick thinking from their attack and moving it really well. But yeah, like I obviously put him in as my number 1, and I mentioned to you he's been around some really, really good sides in terms of, like, obviously at Salford when they were flying. He also went to Cass, didn't massively work out for him there, but we're really, really good at Hull KR. So I kind of knew what we were going to get with him. But one thing that obviously you saw first of all in the game from the weekend was obviously Clune took a little knock to like what looked like his arm or his wrist, and that's when he didn't touch the ball, did he, for about 4 or 5 sets, and it just showed how important it's mental, really, because like over 2 seasons I think he's been here, I didn't realise like how much of a big impact he actually has on the game.
Yeah.
Because you're watching them sets, the 5 or 6 sets, I think two were on ball all the time, which then makes it predictable for York because they knew that Clune weren't picking it up, and that's when they scored a couple of points, I think just before half time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Which were good to see that we came back and we didn't let it slip. We still came back out, we still scored points. Clune stayed on, didn't he? So for a certain period of time, I know he went off, didn't he, towards the
Yeah, it went off at the end, but I think, yeah, obviously it was around that 20-minute mark where we dominated for the first 20 minutes, no questions asked. About that 20-minute mark, he picked up a knock on his hand, and you could really tell how much that affected our team when he wasn't getting on the ball. Obviously, we had Russell on the bench, but he didn't bring them on and kept Clune on there. And yeah, at half time, obviously came out, and whatever he'd done is he calmed down or he'd managed to sort it out. But yeah, that last 20 minutes was kind of, that's where we realised, definitely watching, we're just a completely different team with or without him. And I genuinely do feel like it is very much like for Wigan, Burnham French. If they don't have Burnham French, it's like watching a different team. For us, especially with Clune and how the organiser that he is, and he's kicking as well, which I think in play is second to none. It just shows the difference, doesn't it?
Thing is, as well, put 66 points in. Yeah, 66 points in the last 2 games. I mean, I can't remember the last time. I think I've been pulling stats to you before where we've been averaging 10 points a game. It might peak at 12 or 14 points, but we just have never been getting to them threes, have we?
No.
We're rarely getting to the 20s, to be honest. So how, as a fan, it's just so exciting to see, isn't it? Like, with players cutting through. Everything that we've missed over them last, 12 months or so, it's just all coming to fruition. It's just been really, really good to watch. And
yeah.
A lot of the players, I don't know whether they've had a kick up the arse or it's just that they're getting back to fitness and they found the speed. Now we're in round 6, I think that was, something like that. So it looks so much better, didn't it?
Yeah, it looked a lot better. And you've got to think, we've still got you've still got Bush now, you've still got Halsall out, you've still got Joe Green. Joe Green was our best player for me last year. We've still got those players missing to come back in as well. And obviously we've got 14 days off now, so I'd imagine Halsall and Rushton won't be far off coming back at the next time we play. So yeah, I mean, after watching the last couple of games, I think we're starting to believe that we're going to compete again in games, aren't we? I mean, if we play like that, there's no reason why we can't compete against most teams.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, won't it? Because obviously we've got a 2-week break and it's Leeds at home, innit? So that might be a bit of a... Well, it'll just be a good standing to see where we're at, won't it? Definitely. Hopefully everyone's fit. And if they are and Leeds come firing, then hopefully it'll be a good game.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, the head coach, no head coach announced yet. Obviously, we've had a couple of chats. Obviously, it sounds like first stage is a beginning now. I'd imagine. Well, they've said they're not going to rush the appointment. They're not just going to get somebody in for the sake of getting somebody in, which is the right thing to do, isn't it? Especially if we're looking at kind of a long-term head coach, at least 3 years kind of thing. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see if we've got a head coach in for the Leeds game.
Yeah, I mean. Yeah, not rushing, but it'd be nice to have someone in for Leeds game, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It would be nice, whether we get to that point or not. I'm 100% on the lines of don't rush, because we need this appointment to be right. Obviously, the club have obviously pushed Giants Unleashed, and they've mentioned, obviously, we're trying to sort the new stadium, and a big factor of trying to get people down and things is the on the pitch performance. So this next appointment's got to be vital in terms of someone who can come in, manage the club, manage the players, and keep the standards currently where they're at the moment, to be honest, out from these last 2 games. But we don't want to be slipping, going back into the ways of not being able to attack or not having any flair or creativity, because, again, that's just not going to help bring the numbers down, is it?
No, definitely. And I think the last couple of weeks shows as well that a head coach that does come in, it's not a case of we need to rip everything up and start again, because the players that are available now have shown in the last 2 weeks that they are good enough to be competing in games, and just a little bit of fine tuning, a new voice should hopefully get us moving in the right direction. But yeah, so we'll kind of move on to us review now of the weekend's fixtures. we'll do it in reverse order this week just for a bit of a change, and the fact that I couldn't be bothered to move all the fixtures around on my iPad. Yeah, we'll start with Sunday's game. Field away at Cast, 34-0. Yeah, hammering them really. I watched that full game, and to be honest, I thought Wakey, because they brought Lino in and he's left Sinfield out, and Sinfield's been playing well recently. And he didn't have a good game, but I think on the other side, Truman, he had a fantastic game. But yeah, I don't know where Cass go from here.
It's tough times really for Cass, isn't it? And obviously that's just, it's not what you want, is it? Local rival, that is a proper rivals round game, isn't it? Cass and Wakey, as a fan there, you're not going to be happy. No. Getting turned over, I mean, it's bad enough not scoring in a game anyway, but getting turned over at home by your local rivals by such a big margin is not good. And obviously, we mentioned on the podcast we were on the other day, there's some real issues deep down at Cass, and it's going to take time. But how long do you give them? Do you know what I mean? No, I don't know what the answer is for them. But
yeah. I mean, he's come out and said, hasn't he, that kind of, well, head coach has come out and said, I don't care what people's contracts are, I'll get rid of them, which I thought were a bit strange because it's not you who's doing the recruitment. Obviously, it's Chris Jester's doing that. So yeah, I mean, it just looks like, yeah, they're in a bit of a mess at the moment, and they need to sort it out quickly, especially if that head coach wants to keep his job long term.
Yeah, the thing is, they've got, it's a nice tight ground there, and when the fans are behind them, I bet as a Cass player, it's not a bad place to play. Do you know what I mean? Not the most glamorous stadium in the world, but there's definitely some atmosphere there, and them fans do not want to be settling for that.
No.
So there's something needing to change, and obviously it's got to pick up for them.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, obviously Saturday's games now. We just had one on the Sunday. Obviously we removed the Giants game against York, and Warrington beating Lee 42-6. I mean, yeah, they're pretty free scoring at the moment. Warrington, sorry, definitely not Lee. But yeah, I don't think anyone could have predicted Lee's start of the season being this bad.
Well, I tipped him, I think, outside playoffs.
Yeah.
So I just had a feeling going to this year that they couldn't do what they did last year. Obviously, losing some players. I never thought they'd be bottom after however many games we're on now. Lamb seems confident to say we'll be fine when the players are back. They're another team, obviously, suffering with injuries, but Lee's budget can't be whatever. No. And Lamb's
signed a new contract, didn't he, Lamb? Lamb in halves. He signed a new long-term contract in the summer, which apparently was quite a big deal. So yeah, I mean, yeah, they're not got the lowest salary in the league, have they?
No. But on the flip side, they were going up against a good Warrington team. Obviously, they just suffered their first defeat of the season, to Leeds, and obviously they've bounced back and shown their credentials again for maybe league leaders, grand final winners. Definitely be there or thereabouts in when it comes towards the end of the season. I mean, as a Warrington fan, you've got to be happy right now, haven't you?
Definitely. And obviously brought Sneed back in, and I don't think he missed a kick all afternoon, which, yes, I mean, kind of everybody expects him to hit him every time, doesn't he? And yeah, obviously another close game. Catalan beating Toulouse. I didn't manage to watch this game, but I think Toulouse were pretty unlucky. They had a few tries disallowed. But yeah, I think another strong performance by Toulouse. But probably I think Catalan will probably be a bit disappointed as well.
Yeah, I think. Well, it's a good result for Catalan, and it's a home winning rivals round, but from what I've seen, they're starting to get to gel, aren't they? I saw a couple of tries from that game, and Sexton obviously throwing it out, Dodd were there, put it over. I've just always got this feeling about Catalan that they'll just warm up as it gradually gets through. I think they're doing well because they're picking up the points at the moment, and it just going slightly under the radar. For me, I think there'll be someone to watch in the coming weeks, because I think if they avoid the injuries, they'll definitely, for me, be there or thereabout.
Yeah, I think main thing for them is it's the conceding points is just probably their issue at the moment. In terms of attacking wise, they seem to be scoring points every game. Just in terms of that defense, I think they do need to tighten that up, especially if they do want to climb the table, because against your top 4 or 5 sides in that league. If you're letting easy tries in, you're going to get punished. But yeah, let's move on to Friday's games now. Yeah, I don't think I moved off the sofa all day, to be honest. Quite enjoyed Friday's rugby. We'll start off at Bradford Leeds. Yeah, another big attendance for Bradford. Bradford Leeds back in Super League, rival match. Good to see. I think probably the thing that disappointed me the most in that game was the build up to it. Obviously, with Leeds and Bradford, it's back. That rivalry's back, and kind of when I was watching the game, comparing that to the Hull derby earlier on, we're kind of chalk and cheese, like the rivalry, like players were joking with each other. They just weren't that niggle that I thought there was going to be there, especially when kind of that game's not been done for 11 years, or however long Bradford have been out Super League. So kind of expected it to be a bit fierce, but it just kind of let me down a little bit.
Yeah, unfortunately, didn't get to watch much that game. But like you say, not as fierce, as intense as obviously some of the earlier games in the day. But again, Leeds picking up the points, going top of the table.
Yeah,
they're a good team this year, aren't they?
I don't think they're. Obviously, they had the game in Vegas, but I don't think when I watched Leeds, I watched that game against Bradford, and I don't think Leeds were all that. They were just in those moments. They were clinical, and like I said in the show last week, Connor and Croft are the classic players. They know how to get you over the line. But yeah, when I've watched them, they've not had a complete performance yet, but they're top of the league, and I think that's one thing to be wary of for a lot of teams this year.
Yeah, because obviously we saw when they turned up in Vegas, didn't we? And like what they did to OKR. So obviously, if they do turn up, they're going to be able to do that to teams. But yeah, they probably need to be a little bit more consistent in terms of, because if you want to win the league, you need to be ruthless, don't you? Like Hull KR were last year. Hull KR were fantastic. One of these ground teams out all the first half, and then they're just relentless at putting points on board in second half. And maybe Leeds, that's something for them maybe to focus on now, that they're picking up the wins, but we need to be dominant every game and put the performances in. Because obviously there's a lot of teams this year that I think could be up there. So obviously you've got Warrington. We know they famously can drop off, but at the moment they look good. Saints, poor big result in at the weekend. When they get the players back, they're going to be there or thereabouts. You've got Wigan, Hull KR, and then obviously Leeds. So there's 5 teams there that all could be fighting for it. So points difference might be one of the things that come in at the end of the season. So you need to be starting to get them games won convincingly.
Yeah, definitely. And I think after watching Leeds quite a few times now, I think I'd probably say one of the signings of the winter is Danny Levi. I think he's changed their attack. As soon as he came on, I thought that Leeds looked like a different side when he came on. He's so quick out of that ruck, and he just targets. He's targeting those defensive players aren't in the line. Yeah, he makes a huge difference for them, doesn't he?
Yeah, well, obviously we had him a few years ago. And never kept hold of him, but he's always had that quality. Good, very, very good pickup for Leeds. I thought it was strange, obviously, when then Jared O'Connor and the fact that they're playing two, but it's actually working really well for him. And I think the difference between them and the way they can mix them up between games also makes it hard for opposition, because you don't know if you're going to go against O'Connor to start, Levi to start, whichever way they do it, but they've got threats then off the pitch, haven't they?
Yeah, definitely. And I think kind of that showed, because Warrington game, Levi played 60 minutes, 65 minutes, and O'Connor played literally just finished the game. And then the Bradford game, Connor played, I think he played about 55, 60 minutes, and then Levi came on, and yeah, I mean, him coming on with 20 minutes to go when he'd got tight defenders, it were bread and butter for him, to be honest. Yes, obviously St Helens Wigan, which that were a proper rival game. I think that were a tasty game. That I think 10 minutes to go, I think I text you saying game over this. Wigan have won comfortably, and then Bill Leyland on loan from Hull KR has kind of ripped that playbook up and said no, not a chance. Yeah, huge win for Saints is that, I think.
Yeah, made himself a legend already. I mean, like all I've seen on social media. 1 week loan, all I've seen on social media is just how Bill Whalen's a St Helens hero. Good result for him. And when I saw the team they made up of like 13 players they had missing, I just literally thought there was no way. I think in last week's prediction show, I said there's just no way Saints go and beat them. And what do we know? Yeah. That's why we love sport, isn't it? Because it just throws up results like that. Because I thought that with the players that they were missing, and obviously Wigan, they have got a couple, but they obviously I think Field were back as well. They had no right to win that game, but fair play to him. And Rowley's obviously done a right job there, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. Yeah, I think kind of every journalist kind of thing that I'd seen on Twitter, X, whatever we call it, everyone were 70 minutes game load of like good performance from Wigan, job done. But yeah, I mean, one weird thing from that game was the fact that Matt Peake only used 2 of his 4 subs throughout the whole game.
Yeah, I saw that, and I don't know how that goes down. It was Sam Essay and I can't remember who the one was, but that for me is not a. I wouldn't be happy if I were on bench.
No, definitely not. That says to me you don't trust me. In a big game, you don't trust me to run that pitch and finish this job for you. If you're not being used for the whole 80 minutes, it's not like he's not even chucked him on for 20 minutes in the first half.
The worst thing is as well is that obviously when they've lost it in the last 10 minutes is when you're most fatigued. And is it because he hadn't freshened things up?
Yeah, possibly.
And I think that might have been they were flying. I literally thought they were going to walk to the League Leaders' Shield way they started them first 3, 4, 5 games. And obviously, since French got injured, and obviously I know they were missing Field, they just don't, like you said, they just don't look the same team. No. They were really, really ruthless. They started the season, and I thought everyone's going to struggle this year to even be anywhere near him. And it could take someone like a Leeds beating him on a one-off game, but now everyone will have the backs up thinking, well, we can have a go. Maybe that's what St Helens thought. Maybe they thought, well, Huddersfield turned them over at their own ground this year.
They only beat York by 1 point a week before us as well. So I think kind of, the last, obviously, I think in terms of, I know they won 1 game, but I think that's a tough 3 weeks for Wigan. Beating York by 1 point, losing to Giants, who bottom of the league and winless. And then your big rival game with 10 minutes to go, you won game.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it?
It just shows they were going with 10 minutes to go. 2 out of the 3 games, last 3 games they'd won, and then 80-minute mark, you question why 2 lads have sat on your bench unused and you've won 1 out of your last 3. Yeah, but that's why we love the game, don't we? And then obviously early game on the Friday, Hull KR beating Hull FC. That was tasty. I mean, there was some interesting stuff going on there. I mean, I've been looking at the stuff from the weekend in terms of charges for players. I mean, how Minchella's got away with that elbow on the zone is beyond me. He's literally 2 of them have stood there holding him up, and Minchella just come in, bang, no arm, elbow into head. How he's got away with that's beyond me. But yeah, that's just a proper rivalry, that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a fierce game, isn't it? And obviously, with it being at Hull KR as well, they've not had many home games, have they?
No. I think the first one was the week before.
Yeah. So we've been there, haven't we? Like they're so behind the team. That's what they live, eat, and breathe over there. Hull KR and Hull FC. Obviously, like the rivalry is massive in it. We saw it when we took Jake Connor back, and obviously when he was playing for Giants, they just didn't give him a moment's peace the whole time we were there, and obviously that's when he's left. So it's the passionate fans, and I think it's a great advert for rugby league. I think maybe next time that'd be quite good as a bit of a later game. I don't know if that would work with like policing or anything. I don't know, but it fierce, like you say. Sometimes I wish that like fighting one band, because I feel like our Hull KR team might not will throw the weight as well. Lewis and Minchella are just prime shit houses for stuff like that. It absolutely boils me.
Yeah.
Because like, I'm not being funny, you wouldn't fancy Minchella against O'Sullivan, would you?
No, definitely not.
And Lewis against half the world. But, do you know what I mean?
I think Lewis just wants to take on absolutely anyone he's away, doesn't he? But then as soon as someone gives it back, he's like, "Oh, boys, coming in help me." Yeah. I mean, I don't think we're going to be massive fans of him. But yeah, obviously we'll move kind of onto the preview for the Challenge Cup weekend. Just the 4 games, quarterfinals now. So quite a few teams getting some rest this weekend, which no doubt will help. But yeah, we'll start on Friday's game. Saints against the Dragons, which way you fancying that one to go? Every time you don't back Catalan, they win. And then when you back Catalan, they lose.
I know, so we're all just saying, go on, back Saints. And I backed Wigan last week. I just, basically what I'm saying is I'm shit at predicting at the minute. I don't know on this one. Obviously, it's at Saints, which is an advantage because they're going to have to travel over. But I'm going to go for Catalan win, I think. I'm going to go for an upset. I think they've got to back up that performance against, obviously, Wigan, which will be tough to do. And then just with the injuries and stuff that the players that they've got going out, and they might not have the same lone players coming back in.
Leland and Desiree definitely won't be there because obviously the Challenge Cup, so
Yeah.
Hulk aren't letting them get a cup tied. So that you're losing those two, which I mean that's why I'm going down the Dragons route as well. I fancy them to win it. I said at the start of the year in his predictions, I said Catalan is probably my team that I picked to at least get to final Challenge Cup because they're just that sort of side where when they seem to get these wins in cup games and they seem to go quite far. And yeah, I don't think Saints have got anyone coming back. And obviously you're losing 2 players that you had this weekend, and that game against Wigan will have taken a lot out of those players as well, I think. So yeah, we'll both go for Dragons on that one, which is quite surprising to be honest. Early game on the Saturday now. Hull KR home to York. I think fairly simple that, innit? Hull KR winning.
Yeah, no brainer for me from what I saw from York at weekend, which were pretty lacklustre to be honest. Very, very leaky defence. And obviously York beat Hull KR earlier in the season. That'll be lodged in their brain, and they'll be coming out and making sure that don't happen again. Yeah. So I think it'll be fairly comfortable Hull KR win.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, both Hull KR on that one. They won that day. Warrington at home to Lee again.
We played last week. So that's not going to be good for them, is it? They're thinking, fuck's sake, we've got to go against them again. Can't see a different outcome.
You can't at all. Not at the moment. I think Lee have not even had a game where you've gone, ooh, they might be turning the page here. They might be starting to pick up here, and they've just not had that yet. I think if they'd have played Warrington at weekend and it had been a closer game, I think you'd have probably sat there and gone, oh, maybe Lee they're turning the page now, and they might be onto something, but. Yeah, at the moment they're just in the money, Lee, aren't they?
I think it'll be closer. I do think it'll be closer. I don't think they go out there and put the same performance on 2 weeks in a row. I think it'll be closer, but I just think Warrington are going to have too much for him. So I think, I just can't look past it. Lee aren't showing enough this year, have they?
No, definitely not. I don't know what it is with Lee at the moment. I can't really put my finger on it on why. Just the players they've still got plenty of players available. They've still got a good enough squad, I think, to be competing, and they're not competing at all at the moment.
No, they're struggling without the fullbacks, aren't they? They're struggling without Bailey Hutchinson and Armstrong, and I think there's a couple of other big players they've got out, but it's the same as what every team is facing this year. If you look at most squads, they've been through points in games where they're missing over 6-7 players. Yeah. So you can't use it as an excuse. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, we were there one way of getting drubbed, and what we were saying, it's got to be better, even though you're missing the players. Like them leaking 42 points last week.
It needs to be a bit more five, doesn't it? Yeah. Like, especially, obviously, we went through that as well, and obviously, I think Lee are going through it now. I think fans are just there, and you can take losses, can't you? If you'll see everybody's giving 100% and conceding 42 points in a derby game says to me there's not enough effort going in there.
The thing is, as well, is that obviously there's players there that are on the pitch that wouldn't normally be there, so they need to stake a claim, don't they? This is their shot. Some people, they're crying out for chances to come and say we can do it in Super League, and I feel like a lot of the players that have come in for the injured players this year have unfortunately not been able to step up to the same level. There aren't many people. I mean, Zenon's an example for us where I think he's come in and actually
He's improved us, hasn't
he? He's improved us, and you're looking and go, that's a signing that we looked at and might not have really understood the reason behind it, but he's actually made a big difference to our team. He's kicked for us. I said to you, didn't I? I can't remember a mistake he's made. He's solid under the ball. He brings it back well. He offers us something in attack. He's scoring tries, and I think there's some more players that need to do that and step up and say, we're here when we're ready for Super League. And I'm not saying just across like Lee or Huddersfield. I'm saying just across the whole league, because I can't think of many. Bill Whalen's another example, isn't he? He's had one good game last week, but
we had him, didn't we? Last year?
We had him last year.
You didn't know, all go, he's going to resign for guy. You never ever thought of that.
No, so it's like these players that are on the fringes, I think they just need to really, really it's their time to shine, isn't it? Break through, so.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, obviously, I just think we're trying to make our game so much like the NRL, and you can't just expect to make these rules changes and it's going to work. That's why I'm telling you now. That's why every player that's getting injured, well, most players that are getting injured are backs, and the reason they're getting injured is because of the speed of the ball, because they're moving so much quicker. And yeah, it's no coincidence to me that all these injuries are happening. But yeah, we'll move on now to probably game of the weekend. From what I think, Wakefield at home to Wigan. Brad O'Neill's obviously he's got a spitting allegation, so whether he plays this weekend and whether he's got a longer term ban is another thing.
I know, I've just taken out a fantasy team today. I've had to replace him with Danny Walker. He's gone. I like Brad O'Neill as well. I think he's a really, really solid player, so that'll be another miss for him. I mean, I'll be honest here, I don't even know which way I'm going to go, because Trinity are good at home. They get a good following. Do have a tendency to put in a performance against Wigan, and they're not on a good run of form. However, the thing in the back of my head is that it's Wigan, it's a cup competition, and you can never really count them out, can you?
No. I mean, yeah, I'm going Wigan. However, I would not all be surprised if Wakefield won it. But I'm going Wigan just purely on the fact that they've got more players in there that have been there and done it. They've got more winners in there. And I like Mike P as a coach. I think he's a top coach. And I think he'll be giving him a kick up the arse after that Saints loss.
I'm going to go for... Let's just be different. I'll go for Wakey then.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I like Matt Pete as a coach, and I like his honesty as well. I do actually really, really like him. But I just think Wakey at home, they're coming into some form. They're coming off the back of a good win. So yeah, we'll go Wakey.
Yeah, good. So that rounds up this week's show. Don't forget to share your predictions for this week, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the show if you're not already. But yeah, thanks for joining, Nathan.
Cheers. I just want to do a quick shout out as well. We've been in touch with the Cowbell Army, and they're going to be at the ladies' game this weekend against the Catalan ladies, which is up at Laurent Hill. And we just want to do a quick shout out and support for the Giants ladies team. And if anyone is interested in going down, I think you can get tickets on the door. So yeah.
Yeah, get yourselves up there, show some support to the ladies team, and let's hope they can get the win. But yeah, thanks for joining this week.
Cheers, mate.